So in this video, I will talk about the benefits of blended cloth. So when I speak of blended cloth, I'm talking about mixing luxury fabrics. I'm talking about wool, silks, cashmeres, mohairs. I'm not advocating poly wool, poly cotton. That's not what I'm talking about. I really enjoy some of the interesting combinations we are seeing from some of the more innovative mills where they blend silks, cashmeres, for example. Probably one of my favourite blends is wool, silk and linen. I think done properly, done by a good quality merchant, somebody like Skabal, they manage to take the benefits of each of those fibres and blend them together so you get the best of it. It becomes greater than some of its parts. That's what we're looking for in a good quality blended fabric. Wool, silk, linen is something I've been buying for a long time. When I first became a menswear buyer over 20 years ago, I remember my first summer season, I selected this beautiful wool, silk, linen fabric for the very reasons I'm going to teach you now. Wool has resilience, it tailors beautiful, and it's got a lovely drape to it. So always working with wool is a fantastic thing. Linen has a lovely texture, it brings different colours to the palette. It also is very breathable. So when you mix wool and linen, you should get the best of both. You get the resilience in the drape and you get the linen sort of coolness. Now, as a private stylist, I recommend to my customers to look at this quality, particularly if they fall into two camps, and this is quite a popular area a lot of men fall into. Either they don't believe that wool is a good summer cloth, it's the best summer cloth, or they like linen, but they don't like the creasing. By blending wool and linen, you get the best of both on a good quality combination. Now the silk adds something else. It adds luster and it adds strength. So by combining wool, silk and linen, you get the resilience of the silk as well as the drape of the wool and the breathability of the linen. And the handle of it is very interesting. They're usually jacketings, often open weave, so they're great for summer, particularly if they're unlined. But you can, from certain mills, get suiting, and it can make a lovely trouser material as well. Again, it has that strengthened drape. It will crease, of course it will crease, but it doesn't have that heavy creasing you associate with, you know, the pure linens, for example. Another popular blend you find in menswear a lot, particularly in winter, is wool-cashmere blends. So I like things like wool-cashmere flannels, where you get 10–12% cashmere. It makes the flannel a little bit richer, a little bit softer. You sometimes get slightly different colours coming through. That's a lovely thing to wear. It also means it's more resilient. I think a pure cashmere suit would be quite a luxury, particularly if it's a soft flannel cashmere. I don't think the trousers would last that long. So wool cashmere flannels, great fabrics. You often see these in ties as well. As much as I adore pure cashmere ties, if you can find a wool cashmere blend tie, you get that softness, you get that sense of luxury, but a bit more resilience. It means you can get a longer wear out of it. So that is important. So wool cashmere is a lovely material. Another area you see these sort of blends, sometimes you can get 50/50s, is in your overcoats. Now, if you can afford a pure cashmere overcoat, indulge yourself. It's a wonderful thing to have. But a lot of men will find it a little bit expensive. A good blend between wool and cashmere, it's still practical, but just still has that element of luxury about it. One of my favourite luxury blends is worsted wool with mohair. Now mohair is an incredibly strong fabric, it's got a lovely lustre to it, it has some wonderful properties to it, it has a lovely subtle sheen to it, it holds a great shape, so it's good for travel. And although there are pure mohairs available, which are beautiful, a wool blended with mohair is a lovely suit to have. I recommend it often for evening wear suits where you want something which is going to hold a great shape and have a bit of lustre to it. It also makes great colours. It works in colours you wouldn't necessarily find work so well in pure wools. Things like silver greys, tobaccos. It has such a richness to it. So I'm a big fan of wool and mohair. There was a very famous suit back in the 1950s and 60s called Tonic, which was a high twist wool with mohair, made famous by James Bond in the Get Carter film. Cracking cloth and well worth looking for if you're at tailors. Shirting is also a great area to look for blends. I love a linen shirt, but they generally are more sporty shirts, the sort of thing you might throw on at the beach. If you're looking for something a bit more formal to have your summer attire, cotton linen blend shirts can be very rich, slightly silkier handle, lovely, lovely texture, very breathable. So cotton and linen blends are lovely, slightly dressed up summer shirting. And cotton linen makes a great summer jacketing. You get the breathability, but the creasing is a little bit more sympathetic than pure linens. We've got some great videos coming up on summer jacketing, so make sure you subscribe to our channel to get the videos in your feed. Other blends to look for are cotton and cashmere. Now, having a wool as a shirt can be difficult to launder. You can get some shrinkage. By mixing cotton and cashmere, cotton and wool, you get these lovely brushed materials, very comfortable to the skin, but much easier to care for. Something you occasionally find in these luxury blends is an element of man-made fibres. It could be elastane, also called lycra, which will give the fabric a bit of stretch. So if it's for suiting, you might want something which has a little bit of stretch to it because it makes it more comfortable. Perhaps on an unstructured blazer, a little bit of lycra or elastane is a good thing. On some of the more exotic combinations, sometimes you get a bit of alpaca or alpaca, cashmeres, angoras, and they're overcoatings, and they're quite loose weaves and really rich and a lot of bulk to them. They'll put sometimes up to 10% polyester, and that can be an off-putting thing. But those polyesters, they're just there for the structure. And I learned that from the hard way, because when I used to be a fabric buyer, I had a rule of not looking at anything with man-made fibres in it, and I was missing out on these really great overcoatings with so much texture to them. And so you need to feel the cloth and touch it and think, do I like it? Does it feel good? And often the polyester material won't actually be to the touch, it'll actually be in the weave. So you won't actually feel it, but it just gives it strength. But luxury blends aren't just for tailoring, they make great accessories too. I particularly like a blended bandana because I find silk next to the skin a little bit warm, but this is a blend of wool and silk, so it still has that resilience and sheen, but it's much more comfortable for me to wear next to the skin. I also like the way that it has a slightly less reflective than pure silk, so it's a great combination for pocket squares, for example. I think when you're shopping for quality ties, silk has dominated for so long, and rightly so, but you will find some great blends, particularly for summer. I think if you want to bring some linen and cotton into your neckwear collection, pure linens, pure cottons can be quite creasing, take a bit of care, can look quite sporty and casual, which is great. But if you blend them with cashmeres and silks, you still get that lovely texture and colour, but you have a little bit of a sharper, dressed up look. So don't discount blends for ties too. So I hope you found that interesting and you'll consider a blend for your next tailoring purchase. If you have any questions about fabric, put it in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe.